Hey guys, Chart Stoppers, back with another video. In this channel, we take a look at different stocks and map out their key support and resistance areas on their chart. It's important to know these areas before you buy any stock, and it's also important to know what kind of a trend a stock is in before you buy into it. Support and resistance is one of the most important things you should know about a stock before you either buy into it or sell it. Also, if you're doing any day trading, swing trading, or options, this is the place for you because you are definitely going to want to get familiar with support and resistance areas. And just to let you know, I'm not a financial expert. These videos are for educational purposes only, but I am here to point out key factors on the charts which do impact the price action of a stock. Also, I provided a link in the description for Webull. You could use that to start an account. You'll get 2 free stocks right off the bat. And I also provided a link for Robinhood. Go ahead, use that. You'll get 1 free stock for opening an account there. And just to let you know, we will be doing 3 videos per week on 3 different stocks. So if you have a recommendation for a video, leave a comment below and I will try to get to that. Okay, so let's get into the market today. Today is June 3rd, 2021. And you can see here the S&P 500 is down 0.24% today. And the Dow is pretty much flat on the day. It's up 0.05%. And the NASDAQ is the biggest loser of the day so far, down 0.80%. You could see there was a dip in the morning, but that dip got bought up and everything, is a lot higher than it was this morning, but things are still pretty much down for the day. So let's get into the stock I wanted to take a look at. I wanted to do an update on Apple. I've done a couple videos on them before. You could go back and check those videos out. I'll put a link in the upper right hand corner. You should be seeing that right now. And you could just go back, watch the video, see how I got to where my chart is today. And let's get into it today. Today is, like I said, June 3rd. Apple's currently trading at this moment at $123.58. It's up, or it's actually down $1.50 almost, and which is the equivalent of 1.18% today. So Apple, they did have a 52-week high, which they reached on January 25th of earlier this year of $145.09. Okay, and since then, they've been dropping a lot. It's kind of looks like a roller coaster here since they hit their all-time high right here. It dropped down a lot, all the way down to 120, went back up to around 135, and now it's coming back down here. So let's talk about this chart and why this is very important to the market here. So first, I just want to go over the support and resistance areas on this chart. You could see here I have my top resistance point is going to be around $143.08, just $143. We've never seen this stock close above there, as you could see. So if we want to make a new high, we're going to need to see this thing close above $143 here, because it's reached above there a couple times intraday, but it's never actually closed the day above that. So that's going to be a main resistance point going forward. Okay, and our first, another resistance point that we're going to be looking at going forward is going to be around $134.85 to around 135. Okay, so give or take a few cents there. That's a resistance point here. You could see after we did have this correction starting around this area in the middle of February, and you could see that's when this stock really dropped off a cliff here, and that's where you saw the big selling pressure coming in. It was sitting around this support line around 135 right here, and you could see once this correction started right around this area where my mouse is here, you could see it just, took a dive all the way down to our next support area, which is $120. You could see this support area did hold up throughout the duration of this correction here. You did have support in the past. It was former resistance back here on its way up to its all-time high. So we did have strong support during this correction. You saw here on March 8th, it did drop below there and close below there briefly, okay, only to recover the next day and close right back above there. And, you had a couple days where it did dip below here, but it did recover back above that. So that's pretty strong support there, okay? And you saw this thing hit this support at 120, and it shot all the way up it made, it made like a W pattern right here. You could see during this correction, it came down, went up a little bit, came back down, hit that support again a couple times here, and it shot up. So you could see it shot all the way back up to that 135 mark right there where our next resistance is going to be. And now we are making our way back down to this 120 support line right here. So as I zoom out here, you can see I have this red line, which is the trend that the stock has been on since the lows of March of 2020 during COVID here. You could see the big sell-off that was during COVID in this area. And I started my trend line from the lows over there, as you could see. And, I just drew it up to where it was trading, keeping it on an uptrend. And as you could see right here on May 10th right here, right after their dividend date, which was on the 7th, you could see the stock really sold off after that dividend, okay? And you could see it dropped right below this trend line, and it's been trading below there ever since. You could see right here, it closed right at that trend line on May 10th, and it opened way down here the next day on the 11th here. So that was a pretty big difference there, a big gap down there. And, now this trend line is going to be acting as resistance going forward. You could see it went up to the trend line and it quickly bounced off of that. So we're going to be looking at that line as resistance. You could see here we fell below our moving averages. We're below all of them right now. We were holding our 200-day moving average, but during the day today, and this is very important here, we are actually trading below this 200-day moving average. And that's going to be a big thing going forward and a big thing to watch, because there's a couple other big tech stocks that are testing their 200-day moving average, today and this past week. And, it's not looking good right now because this is clearly in a downtrend here. And, if we lose this 200-day moving average, we could be looking at a bigger fall than just down to this 120 mark right here, which is, only a couple of dollars away. We do have this gap to fill in right here between $120 and $120.40 to $121.15. We do have that gap that is pretty close by, and we're looking at going to fill that gap probably. But we could drop all the way down here, which would be around our next support line, around $112.50. You could see we left a gap here on the way up. So this gap would act as support, the top of it, if we are to drop below that 120 mark. So I just want to switch over to our weekly chart, see what we could find there. And you could see, the trend was broken here. And now we are below our 21-day moving average on our weekly chart. We're below our 30-day moving average. And we are coming up on our 50-day moving average on our weekly chart here. And you could see that 50-day moving average is sitting at $120, so right at our support line. So I'm expecting this thing to keep falling in the rest of this week, maybe next week, to probably hit this 50-day moving average here and maybe make a recovery off of that there. So you see here, the last time we dropped below our 50-day moving average, or we bounced off of it, was during the lows of COVID here. And that's when we saw this stock go from $60 to all the way up to $145. So this could be a big point for this stock here if we do drop below this 50-day moving average on the weekly or bounce off of it. Because last time, we saw a big move in the stock after it did that. So we'll just be watching that. I'm going to switch over to our 4-hour chart, and let's see what we could see here. The 4-hour chart is kind of messed up because it does have the stock split back here. So we can't really look at that. There's not much to go off of here unless I zoom in, and that doesn't really tell us much. But as you can see on the 4-hour chart, we are below all moving averages on the 4-hour chart. We're below our 250 and 21 and 30-day moving averages on that chart, and we have fallen out of our trend line. I'm expecting a bigger move at least down to $120. We're probably going to see that if we do not close above our 200-day moving average today. If it does regain some momentum here and close back above this 200-day moving average, I'll be watching this in the next couple weeks to make sure it stays above there. If not, we're going to be looking at more downside probably here. So I'll be watching that closely, and I'll be watching these other tech stocks too to see what moves they make, because they are trading near or right below their 200-day moving averages today. So I'm going to be watching that also in the weeks ahead. So that's just my quick update on Apple. If you guys liked it, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and have your notifications on so you don't miss out on any new content. And we will see you next time on Chart Stoppers.